Today on The Report, we discuss the deadly crush at an Indonesian league soccer match.
Plus, Ukraine's success in regaining some key occupied territories and Hurricane Ian's devastating impact on Florida.
A suspected serial killer at large in Stockton, California.
And a new bill restricting the use of rap lyrics as evidence in court. The Report starts now.
Hello, I'm Enrique Medina.
I'm Elmira Darmanian.
I'm Amanda Nemec.
And I'm Anthony Bautista. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at The Report CSUF or on our Titan TV Instagram at Titan TV CSUF to keep in touch with us and view our new content.
On the night of Saturday, October 1st, 125 people died at an Indonesian league soccer match after conflict between fans led to a crush in the stadium. Supporters of Arema FC and rival Persebaya Surabaya, two of Indonesia's biggest soccer clubs, clashed in the stands after home team Arema FC was defeated by a score of 3-2 at the match in the city of Malang. According to multiple police reports, the supporters of the losing team then invaded the pitch, and officers fired tear gas, which triggered a stampede, leading to cases of suffocation. Two police officers also died in the chaos, and it left more than 300 people injured. Indonesian President Joko Widodo has ordered all league matches to be postponed until investigations are completed. In a televised speech, he said, quote, "I have specifically requested the police chief to investigate and get to the bottom of this case. Sportsmanship, humanity, and brotherhood should be upheld in Indonesia," end quote. Ministry officials have stated that the stadium's full capacity is estimated at 38,000 spectators, but 42,000 tickets were issued for Saturday's game. Many videos were shared all over social media showing the losing team's fans storming the field and clashing with police who appeared to be wearing riot gear. Officials reported that many were admitted to nearby hospitals and suffered from a lack of oxygen. Media attention has focused on the police's use of tear gas, which is banned at soccer stadiums by FIFA, the world's soccer governing body. Officials have called the incident one of the most deadly soccer matches in history. So it's an unfortunate situation here between these two rival clubs in Indonesia. One thing to note is that actually next year in 2023, Indonesia is actually going to be the host of the Under-20 World Cup. It's not quite the World Cup happening this year in Qatar in 2022, but still, this is a platform where a lot of the young players can essentially make their case for the national team, and this is where we see a lot of young studs essentially kind of break through in the beginning. So considering this actual situation that occurred between these two rival soccer clubs, what is our opinion as far as Indonesia and being able to host a tournament of this capacity?
I honestly think it's very weird because the thing that you mentioned where the more tickets were sold than it was supposed to be people at the game, it's just, I think it needs to be investigated because it is something that you need to look into. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I definitely think they are going to do an investigation on it, as well as, the fact that tear gas is banned. So the fact that they did use tear gas and then it's leading into the FIFA for, this year, next year, it's just, it's a pure chaos right now. And there is going to be definitely an investigation on it and we'll see what happens. What are your thoughts?
Chaos is definitely the right word to use there. It's very concerning. My heart goes out to everybody who's been affected by this tragedy, but I don't think FIFA should reward Indonesia with an international event and give them a platform after they just did something that was banned by FIFA decades ago. I think that's the wrong way to go about it, and FIFA should look into switching the location of the U20 World Cup next year.
Yeah, I think another thing to note is that there have been previous outbreaks, obviously none to this capacity, but also I think if they were to still continue hosting next year's Under-20 World Cup, I think there's more the question of how Indonesia as a nation can handle like a large influx of people, because obviously tons of fans from all over the world are going to be here. So I think it's more the question of how they can handle it. So I think that's one thing that has to be considered. Another thing that I feel like is very necessary to talk about in this situation is the way the police handled the situation. Do we think, what do we think exactly about how they handled it?
I mean, I think if something's banned, it's banned. So the fact that tear gas was banned and they used it still, it doesn't seem right to me. And if they do go into FIFA at Indonesia, that's definitely going to be up in the air. Like, if this does happen with larger crowds, how are they going to handle the situation? Are they going to use tear gas, you know?
I completely agree with you. But at the same time, I'm thinking that they didn't expect an outcome like that. So maybe they were expecting like to stop a small group of people, and then it turned into complete chaos as you've mentioned. But at the same time, I think that when it comes to sports events, it's only supposed to be about big emotions, excitement, amazing atmosphere. And when it comes to like death and injuries and a lot of people struggling, it's absolutely terrible. And I think that FIFA needs to look into that and maybe restrict something else, because we need to stop this. It happened before, and we don't want this to happen anymore. In other news, Ukraine continues their fight for liberation in the east and south. Ukraine has been impressively continuing to push Russian forces out of the country. Defense Ministry maps appear to indicate many rapid withdrawals of Russian invasion forces. Russians no longer occupy the village of Ducheny on the west bank of the Dnieper River, as well as areas along the west bank of the Oskil River. On the forefront of the Kherson territory, roughly 50 towns and villages have been recaptured. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky has come forth to announce that their army is making, quote, fast and powerful progress. Our soldiers do not stop, and it's only a matter of time before we expel the occupier from all of our land, end of quote. For Ukraine to be dictating the operational tempo on the battlefield is a remarkable feat, especially as the underdog with far less military personnel. Western officials have made it clear that they doubt Russia has the ability nor the ambition to take the offensive back. They went on further to say that, quote, Ukrainian commanders in the south and east are creating problems for the Russian chain of command faster than Russians can effectively respond, end of quote. Their continued triumphs are proving to be devastating for Russia, where officials have been scrambling to make sense of all their lost territories. Some are even arguing for certain military command to be replaced for their cowardice and incompetence. We're rooting for Ukraine to keep up the momentum in their brave fight to regain their territory. So, although Ukraine has made a great deal of progress, Russia still has control over a significant amount of territory. Do you think Ukrainian people will keep it up with the war, and they will be the ones who are creating the tempo?
Well, first of all, I think it's great that they're still showing a lot of resilience. The Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian forces have shown a lot of it throughout this entire war. It's really surprising to me, though, and I'm sure it's surprising to a lot of people, because Russia was supposed to have a huge advantage over them in terms of arms, in terms of the amount of soldiers that they had. Every aspect, Russia was supposed to have the advantage. So the fact that Ukraine's still fighting says a lot.
But at the same time, we don't really know what is going on. We don't know the truth.
We don't know. It's all up in the air.
Yeah, I think another interesting aspect to bring up is that recently President Vladimir Putin of Russia actually signed an annexation of 4 regions, 4 territories in Ukraine. So I think more than anything, as the war gets deeper, my question comes to, will he annex more, or how's the annexation situation going to be like? How will Ukraine respond to that? And how will the world respond to that too, if it gets worse?
I think it's just interesting to see that 4 territories are being annexed already, and we aren't even close to being finished or where this is going to go. So we'll just have to wait and see and stay tuned. Looking to the U.S. now, Hurricane Ian has made landfall in Florida, and the impact is devastating. The death count in Florida has now risen above 100 as the Category 4 storm's aftermath is coming to light. Search crews are returning to the scene to find their houses decimated and streets flooded, but the priority remains locating any survivors who chose not to evacuate. At least 54 people have died in Lee County and 24 in Charlotte County, where the storm seemed to have caused the most carnage. However, more than 1,600 people have been rescued from Hurricane Ian's path since last week, as search parties go through the rubble of the houses one by one. Although the storm has passed, threats still linger for those who return to the area. Officials cannot stop residents from coming home, but they are to be advised that many counties are still unsafe. Among the wreckage, what remains is the high risk of continued flooding, which many homes are still facing. There is also a lack of clean tap water and extensive power outages throughout affected areas. Hurricane Ian is expected to be the most expensive storm in Florida's history, and the restoration will no doubt be a lengthy process. For now, Lee and Charlotte County residents can apply to receive free temporary roof repairs in order to help reduce further damage to their properties. Many officials are facing criticism over why the first mandatory evacuation wasn't ordered until only a day before Ian's landfall. This was primarily due to the storm's uncertain forecast. County Manager Roger DeZarles responded, quote, "It's unfortunate that so many people chose not to evacuate. We had room for 40,000 in our shelters, but only 4,000 showed up, which means that people made the conscious choice not to evacuate," end quote. Our thoughts go out to every individual whose life was or still is being impacted by this natural disaster. When do you think these people can go back to their daily lives or even return to their homes?
Yeah, just to put things a little bit into perspective, Hurricane Ian knocked out power to more than 4 million people in the state of Florida. As of Thursday morning, almost 200,000 homes and businesses still lacked power, which is actually, I feel like it's pretty decent numbers. The Florida Power and Light Company also said that it expects restoration of power to be pretty much complete by Friday night. So that's encouraging to hear. I mean, still, I feel like in the sense of power, as far as the restoration is concerned, that's going to be pretty quick. But as far as damages, when it comes to buildings, infrastructures, homes, that's where the question comes up, how long is it going to take? Because I know for sure it's not going to be as fast as it is to restore power.
Right. I mean, these people are definitely have a new look on life, a new perspective, just because literally all your belongings, everything you grew up around, you know, it's just gone. They literally have nothing and they have to start from scratch, literally.
And this is something that will change people's lives forever. You know, nothing's ever going to be the same after this. People are going to have to start from scratch, and we're just hoping that everyone's able to pull through. In Stockton, California, a serial killer may be on the loose. According to the Stockton Police Department, a series of reported homicides are believed to be related. Between July 8th and September 27th, 5 individuals have been shot down by a suspected serial killer. All 5 victims were alone and shot during the evening or early morning hours. The intent of the murders is still unclear, as the victims may have been randomly selected with no apparent connection to one another. The Stockton Chief of Police, Stanley McFadden, stated, quote, "It wasn't a robbery. Items aren't being stolen. They're not talking about gang activity in the area or anything. It's just the element of surprise," end quote. The victims are said to have been 4 Hispanic men, ranging from 21 to 54 years old, and the last being a 35-year-old white man. On top of that, there are 2 other open cases from 2021 that police believe to be possibly linked with the recent shootings, one of which a 46-year-old black woman survived. Issuing a warning to all Stockton residents, McFadden said, quote, "Please do not fall victim. Be alert. Stay where it's lit. Communicate. We need your help. We need your tips. And we need you to help not to spread misinformation," end quote. Officials are busy at work trying to catch the dangerous killer and are also offering a $95,000 reward for any information related to the case. Hopefully someone steps up with details that can put this murderer behind bars. So how do you guys feel about this? How do you guys feel about the Stockton police and their precautions that they have taken? Do you think they should take more, such as more patrol, more curfew, or a longer curfew, anything like that?
Yeah, I think what's really weird in this situation, my initial thoughts, is the fact that there really hasn't been any evidence at all seeing who this potential serial killer may be. So I think a good place to start is to install more streetlights, add better security cameras if possible, add more throughout the city if possible. Hopefully that helps out in being able to track where he may make his next move. I think that's a good start. It's really tough just to see how much more, just because it's been so secretive and very out of the blue.
Yeah, it also shows you like a $95,000 reward just for any information given. Shows, you know, how much information we don't have about who this killer could be. But the fact that there is one victim that is still alive could give us, information down the road, which gives us hope about the situation. So definitely, yeah, like you said, being aware, maybe having more street lights.
I completely agree with you on that one. And I also think that the fact that we don't know enough and we don't have a lot of details about the case, it's something that really stops the investigation overall. And I think this is why there is not really a lot of process going on. I also think that people just should be aware and pay a lot of attention to something that they don't think is important. They should stay all together and just take care of themselves, because I hope there will be more details, but we don't want any more victims. So I hope there will be more details in the nearest future that will actually help us with the case. On September 30th, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Decriminalizing Artistic Expression Act, which states that the way an artist's lyrics can be used against them as evidence in criminal cases. According to the Los Angeles Times, quote, California prosecutors would have to show a judge that the lyrics were written around the time of the crime, have specific similarity to the case, or depict factual details about the crime that are not known to the public. Advocates for free expression have praised the bill as timely and precedent-setting. Previously, hip-hop artists' lyrics were frequently cited by prosecutors as proof of guilt in criminal charges. The late LA rapper Draco, The Ruler, and more recently Atlanta's Young Thug and Gunna all had their own lyrics used against them in charges ranging from murder to conspiracy that violate the RICO Act. The California State Assembly and Senate unanimously approved the bill in August, where many rappers like Meek Mill, Ty Dolla $ign, and E40 applauded the signing of the bill by the California governor. As for now, a similar federal bill called the RAP, or Restoring Artistic Protection Act, is beginning to work its way through the House of Representatives by Atlanta area Representative Hank Johnson and New York Representative Jamel Bowman. Why do you think, guys, rap lyrics were previously used as a way to criminalize hip-hop artists?
Well, I personally think that it was used as a method to attack people of color. A lot of rappers come from like the inner city, a lot of like poverty-struck neighborhoods. So I think that this was used as a way to target them, because they're talking about their environments a lot of the time. A lot of the time, like I like how you brought up Draco the Ruler, because he was actually tried and they wanted to put a murder case on him using his lyrics by saying that he had a beef with another rapper and that he was trying to go kill him at a party that he wasn't even at.
Yeah.
So this whole thing is, I think it's just been an attack on people of color, and I'm glad this is a step forward in the right direction.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I do totally agree with that. I feel like ultimately those lyrics, it can only lead to speculation. So I feel like they're using that against them, and especially being people of color. It's just really, really unfortunate.
That's a great point. But still, I feel like these rappers should be allowed to talk about where they come from and be able to express themselves however they feel. So I think this is a step in the right direction. In campus news, celebration is in the air for Cal State Fullerton's very own Latinx Community Resource Center. Coming up on their 50th anniversary, members toasted to the past, present, and future, accompanied by a performance from Grammy Award-winning music group, the Mariachi Divas. Both past alumni and current members gathered together for the special occasion to speak out in regard to the important role the center has played in their lives. Alumna and former center volunteer Leslie Aguirre stated, quote, being involved in the center grounded me in my roots. It helped me embrace my culture and grow into it, end quote. Although the name of the center has changed more than once and has seen its fair share of troubles throughout the years, the members' commitment and resilience have kept the doors open for future generations to come.
And with that, that's all we have time for today.
Have a great week, everyone.
And stay tuned for more news, views, and info.
We'll see you next time on The Report.